You are listening to the most original talk radio station anywhere. We are LA Talk Radio at latalkradio.com.
You're listening to Oscar's Guitar Shop with Oscar Jordan, right here on LA Talk Radio.
Yeah, I hope you don't mind. I got up a little early, so I took the liberty of milking your cow for you. Yeah, it took a little while to get her warmed up. She sure is a stubborn one. Whew.
We don't have a cow. We have a bull.
I'll brush my teeth.
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to another episode of Oscar's Guitar Shop. I'm Vintage Guitar Magazine contributing writer Oscar Jordan, and you've got to love like you've never been hurt. That's right. Thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. You're too kind. I've got an exciting show lined up full of action, adventure, romance, and danger, so don't touch that dial. If you'd like to support Oscar's Guitar Shop, go to oscarsguitarshop.com, click donations to the show. Donate $30 or more and be entered to win a 1-year subscription to Music Connection magazine and a Mad Professor electric blue chorus pedal. Do it and win. Want to become a sponsor? Email me at oscarsguitarshop@gmail.com. Oscar's Guitar Shop is powered by Music Connection magazine, informing music people, industry professionals, and support services since 1977. Visit them at musicconnection.com. Also, True Tone Music. Visit them at truetonemusic.com, making your music come to life. And last but not least, Mojave Ampworks. Visit the Oasis of Tone at mojaveampworks.com. Find out what Peter Frampton, Billy Gibbons, and George Lynch are talking about. mojaveampworks.com. And now, it's time. guitarist, author, teacher, recording artist, and GIT graduate Jennifer Batten has got mad skills. She plays jazz, rock, metal, fusion, and funk, and she's awesome. She was chosen from over 100 guitarists to tour with Michael Jackson and performed on the Bad, Dangerous, and History tours. She holds the distinction of playing guitar to over 1.5 billion people at the 1993 Super Bowl halftime show and lived to tell the tale. She literally wrote the book on two-handed tapping and did world tours with Jeff Beck and played on his Who Else and You Had It Coming albums. Her solo records, Above, Below, and Beyond, Tribal Rage, Momentum, and Whatever, are an intimate peek into the creative mind of a master guitarist. She's explored the world of electronica, sampling, and film, and her one-woman multimedia show has received great reviews. She's an innovative guitarist who continues to entertain, inspire, educate, and change lives. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce to you Miss Jennifer Batten.
Hello.
Hey, Jennifer.
How's it going out there in the guitar world?
Wow. It's really you. It's really you, Jennifer Batten. Wow. How you doing?
I'm doing good on this rainy day up in Portland, Oregon.
Oh, wow. Rainy, huh?
Yeah, so unusual for the Northwest.
Oh, yeah. Well, you've got your coffee, and you're ready for the day.
Yeah, in fact, I just pulled my coffee out of the oven. I like to bake it.
Yeah. So what have you been up to?
God, well, I've been flitting all over the world doing some playing. I'm at home for a couple months, and I'm getting together a new course for TrueFire.com. It's one of the most popular online guitar courses in the world.
Mm-hmm.
There's 250,000 subscribers every month, and I have my first video will be coming out. It's on rhythm guitar, coming out at the beginning of October, and then I'm going off to record another one, so I'm prepping the next course right now.
Busy.
Yeah, crazy busy.
So what's in the lesson that you're teaching on TrueFire?
Well, in the you know what, we ended up calling it sauce, rock sauce, rhythm sauce,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm really into the nuance of attacking notes or chords and trying to be as creative as possible and giving people a whole lot to put into their arsenals. And instead of just strumming, which is the most basic guitar thing you can do, I have a bazillion different ways to approach rhythm guitar in that new video. And the one I'm working on now is about soloing techniques and adding sauce to that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And this is Jennifer Batten sauce, obviously.
Yeah.
Now, is this a particular style of rhythm playing? Or, I mean, because you're known for playing with Michael Jackson, so you got all the funky stuff. So is it that, or is it kind of is this going to your jazz background, or what?
Funk is only a little bit of it. I don't really get into jazz very much at all. I don't get into too much of exotic chords. I touch on it, but I give you the tools to understand where chord scales come from, where chords come from, and how to build your own. Then I get into the salsa. About fun things that you can do. So there's no particular style. It's more techniques that you could use in any style.
I see. Dealing with how to deal with time or more chord theory?
Both. I try to cover everything. There's actually, they just sent it to me to approve, and I'm amazed at how much stuff is actually in there. So it's I might say so myself, it's an incredible value because people can work on this for months.
That's very cool.
Get everything down, yeah.
And there's also, you mentioned that there's soloing techniques in there as well, and another part of it?
That's in the new one that I'm working on now, so that won't be out till next year.
Okay. So you haven't filmed it yet. You're just kind of doing the lesson plan to plan it before you film it.
Yeah, they're really together. They make you fill out a worksheet, which is really smart for flaky musicians. And get the assets together. That one of the things people really like about their lessons with True Fire is that there's a lot of jam tracks. So for mine, it's going to be -1 from my 3 CDs that people can play along with.
That's very cool. And so they can jam along with Jennifer. That's cool.
Exactamente.
That's what I would call it. Jam along with Jennifer, because the J's. Because it rhymes. I don't know.
It's the Jenny Jam.
That's right. I followed you for many years, and I am not blowing smoke because I'll tell you, I would like to think that I own a first printing of your book. I would like to think that. I don't know if it's a second printing, but I would like to think it's a first printing of your book, Two Hand Rock.
Well, if it's got that whack-ass picture on the front, it's definitely a first printing.
Is that the one with the cool glasses and the haircut?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But, you know,
I've gone through a metamorphosis many times in my life.
That's a great photo. People in the radio land, you must go online and you must see this picture. She is kicking butt on the guitar, and she's on the cover, and it's the early Jennifer Batten. It's vintage Jennifer Batten, and you've got to see this great photo. But my point is that I feel like you don't get enough credit for like tapping, because obviously Van Halen popularized that, but you just kicked out this book, and if I'm not mistaken, you were working with Steve Lynch at GIT at the time, correct?
We were in the same class together at GIT, and he's the one that turned me on to tapping. So I just was very interested in stuff that he was experimenting with, and I actually took a lesson with him and just took off on my own from there.
Right, because I was looking at the book, and compared to like what Van Halen is known for and what people learn and on video online of how to tap, it's pretty much linear stuff on one string, a la Eruption, some of that. But your stuff is much more complex in terms of moving around the fretboard with in this kind of you have to be ambidextrous to get this done right,
Well, you got to put in a little work, if you're not used to tapping. It definitely is a minute put in there to get your fingertips conditioned for one thing, and like any technique, you start out slow with just a few things and build from there. And it honestly didn't take me that long once I was focused on it to really get it together.
But we're talking like 79?
Yeah, that's when I got out of GIT, yeah.
And
that is the year I started tapping.
Right, so that's like way early on, and that style kind of exploded a couple of years later, and you had already written a book on it. It's pretty cool. When you see it done today, because it's obviously gone through processes of artists having their way with it, from electric to also a lot of slapping style and acoustics. What do you make of that?
I love it. I think it's fantastic. In fact, one guitar player I listen to a lot now is Preston Reed. He's probably the best acoustic tapper out there, and part of what I love is his sense of time. It's just so on the money. It's like he's a drummer that picked up guitar almost. Yeah. So it's really fascinating to me, and I really like to listen to acoustic guitar these days because I'm pretty burnt out on hearing electric, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember reading some interview and you talking about how Jeff Beck affected your hearing.
yeah. And anybody that went to see him, but the ear takes 48 hours to repair, and we didn't have that. We would do dig after dig. So I'm definitely missing a few frequencies from my years with him.
Yeah, well, I can see that. Yeah, I remember seeing when you were on tour with him. This was in L.A. At the time I believe it was the Universal Amphitheater, and I saw
it was.
I saw you there with him, and that was great because you were playing all the keyboard parts with two hands on the neck, and that was just awesome.
Yeah, it was a challenge. It's the kind of thing that if it wasn't working for him, I wouldn't have put in the time for my styles to get the guitar synthesizer together. And so it was a real kick in the pants, and it was a really wonderful experience.
Yeah, and you were I mean, there was a lot of, it was, you were using a hell of a lot of technology, more so than your average guitarist for that gig, and I thought it just worked seamlessly.
Well, thanks. When he first got us together to, we went to a rehearsal room just to see how it went, and the original band was going to be Terry Bozzio and Tony Levin, and we all met at SIR just to play for a few days and see how it felt. And I was surprised to show up and see no keyboard player because his catalog is 30 years of keyboard. So, he thought it would be fine to just play guitar, but I didn't. So I'm the one that initiated getting into guitar strength because guitar just wouldn't cut some of those songs. So that's how that happened.
Wow, very cool. I remember reading an interview with Kaki King, and she always drops your name as just being an inspiration for her in her style of acoustic, and that's your style of playing. That must feel great to have people just be inspired by you. Yeah, well,
I appreciate her giving props because I think I was tapping before she was even born. So she's got her own voice with it. I really love her songs like White Noise or Pink Noise. I forget what it's called, but she's done some really fun things with it.
Yeah, she does great stuff. I love that. Yeah, that seems like it has been the next evolution of tapping, where you obviously people have come after you on electric guitar, but it's just gone crazy with acoustic, and the kind of Michael Hedges and just on and the contemporary acoustic players. It's just great, and I guess it has to be nice to know that people were influenced by you and your playing.
Yeah. Yep. Indeed.
I want to play some music that you wrote on one of your albums. This song is called In the Aftermath, and it can be found on your album, Whatever. And it goes a little like this.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
I can dig it. I can. I've accepted the song and I dig it. Jennifer, that was awesome.
Thank you.
That was very, very, very cool. Oh, tone for days. Oh, beautiful legato stuff. Now this is really cool because I mean you came, you know, you're into world music and multimedia, working with video, but you kind of cut your teeth in like funk cover bands early on. Is that correct?
Yeah, actually, the first professional band I worked on was kind of a funk fusion band. So yeah, I spent a good 3 years with them, and we did various things. We did weddings and eventually did pop cover kind of stuff. But yeah, always been into the funk.
That's very cool. So was this like 70s funk, or is this more like fusion-y? I'm trying to think of like.
More George Duke. And
right.
Jeff Lorber.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I remember Jeff
Carlton.
Lorber. Jeff Lorber Fusion. Yes.
Yeah.
That's very cool. And then, and so you were into that, and but you also had this kind of jazz thing going on too, in terms of, you know, before you went to GIT, weren't you interested in jazz as well?
Yeah, and I was interested in that the whole year I was there. It was way back then, it was a pretty jazz-oriented school because way back in the day, in the beginning, there was 3 teachers total. That was it. Joe DiOrio, Ron Eshday, and those were hardcore bebop guys. And then Don Mock was the token fusion guy. Mm-hmm. So that's where my head was at completely for several years, which was probably a good thing. And then I noticed I just dug the energy of other kinds of music more.
Mm. And what year was this when you joined GIT?
78 was the third class they ever had.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
you were like, you know, like it. That's early GIT. That's that's very cool. I understand you studied with I think his name is DiOrio.
DiOrio.
Italian. Okay, the jazz guy. I met him years ago. I did a workshop with him years ago at the guitar workshop thing that they had in Claremont years ago, and he just blew my mind. Just amazing, just sense of harmony and just it's just mind altering stuff. And I read that you got a chance to work with him very closely. What was it like with him?
It was awesome. He was a very kind, spiritual person, and I spent a lot of time with him, and I memorized 2 of the books that he wrote. I was really into his explorations of wide intervallic skips, and it's still part of my playing today. So of all the teachers there, he had the biggest influence by far, and I kept in touch with him still.
That's great. Yeah, I was going to ask you, how do you apply that to your music today in terms of his knowledge in intervallic skips, etc.? How does that apply to your music today?
Well, I think the more that you learn in music, whether it's harmony, soloing, arpeggios, whatever, it just makes your knowledge of the guitar stronger and makes it easier to create and get your own voice happening. And most everything I've learned, it really doesn't matter what style it's in. Like the interval kind of stuff, it seems to work fine in hard rock or funk or whatever. It's just sound.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Does that influence how you put together your set list for the stuff that you're doing today with, like, working with film, multimedia, etc.?
Well, the film thing starts with songs that I enjoy playing, and then I'll make a film to it and cut everything to the beat so it's all in sync. For 6-7 years now, I've been doing my own thing with originals, and I've started to add some covers. I did a tribute to Les Paul, and a thing for I Am the Walrus, just expanding my film skills and textures as well as the tunes. And then last summer, I put together a whole show with films that's all Michael Jackson tunes. And now I'm working on a whole other one that's all Police music. So films, working with films is the most obsessive art I've ever been involved in. I can easily go for 10 hours without a problem at all.
Yeah, that's more like you have to look at the big picture and presentation, et cetera, et cetera. Wow.
Yeah. Especially because sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I really, after I played with Jeff Beck, I thought, okay, what's next? You know, I played with the biggest pop star in the world and then the biggest guitar icon, and I really wanted to take my own music on the road, and just the thought of putting a band together just made me break out in hives, just because I don't have that leadership skill, and I don't like to have to look after other people. I've done that, and it's a drag. So I thought there's got to be a way I can go out on my own, and I've done hundreds and hundreds of clinics playing the tracks, but to actually be on a stage doing that just seemed kind of lame, and people would get bored. So that's why I came up with the film idea, because really the focus is the film. It's not all that interesting to watch a guitar player's fingers for 90 minutes. So people go back and forth, and I found also by adding the film, I can get a lot wider range of audience ages, because I've had little kids see the show, and they're still engaged at the end of the show, which is pretty phenomenal. I didn't even expect that. Wow.
You've just remedied one of my biggest problems. It's like, well, and trying to, get on the phone, and you got to call people up, and you got to get them into the rehearsal, and then they show up to rehearsal, and they didn't have a chance to work on the music, and then it's just, headaches and Advil,
Yeah, I'm well over that.
Oh God, it's just, and you just, you give them some music, you got your tracks are set, you put on the video, there's your entertainment, there's your visual stimulation, it's all there, it's all been cut, you sync to the film, right?
Yep. And then the drummer's not going to drop a beat, and he's not going to play too loud because I have the volume control. It's all about control issues, and I'm proud of them.
And you show up on time, and you don't fire yourself, right?
Yeah, and what I've done to take control even a step further, I've had so many years of dealing with bad monitors or monitor mixers in other countries that don't speak English that now I carry a little mixer with me, so I split off the sound, and I can mix exactly what I want to hear. And then I added a relatively new in-ear monitor by Sensophonics called the 3D Ambient. And it's very expensive, but what it does is not only is it a triple driver ear monitor, but it has a microphone in each ear. So with this little box, you can dial in how much of the outside sound you want to get. So I usually have people give me monitor mixes anyway, and I dial that in for ambience and so I can hear the audience. Because so many of the in-ear monitors, the problem people have with it is you feel so closed off from the audience, you don't hear them clapping, you only see them. So it's a life changer having the system set up. So nobody can control the front of house sound while you're on the stage. So it's whatever's going to happen is going to happen, and you can only go by reports from the audience later. But at least I know I'm going to enjoy the show.
That's the thing you can control.
Yep.
Yeah, it's people who don't play out. There's a lot of guitar players in Radio Land who maybe they play, but they don't know what it's like to deal with stage issues of the house compared to the stage volume, and who's controlling your mix out in the house, and you might just be getting your rocks off on stage, but in the house, you sounded thin and nasal or whatever. There's all kinds of issues of volume, but you got to make yourself happy so you can be inspired.
Exactly, and another thing I've done, unless I'm playing with a band, I'm going direct now from a Digitech processor, because they've really come a long way with the speaker emulation, using the RP1000 now. And, so you cut out the problem with what kind of mic is there, the feedback from the mic, and how the sound engineer deals with the mic. So they have a direct sound, just like a keyboard player with a direct out. So, they can still screw it up pretty bad, but at least you've done everything you could do.
Yeah. Yeah, you've been using the Digitech RP1000 for a while now. I guess maybe you like it, huh?
Actually, I've just switched to the RP. The previous series was called the GNX.
Yeah.
And now they've gone HD, and some of the sounds are so improved. It's like they have an acoustic patch in there that is just phenomenal, just incredible. They've had acoustic patches in the past that were kind of good, but they were kind of too noisy to use. But they finally nailed that, and there's also a talkbox patch that's unreal as well. So there's a lot of new sounds that are really inspiring.
Well, I'll have to check that out. Speaking of acoustic, I want to play this track off of whatever called Fearless. This is pretty cool, and I just dig it. People, check it out. Uh-oh. I'm not hearing anything, but it's playing. Well, I'll have to play something else then. Oh, well. There you go. Technical issues. Well, let's see. I always come prepared, so I'm going to play something different now. This is another track. You'll like this, too, because everything I've chosen is perfect music. Let's see. I think I will play this.
God.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing. True Tone Music is a virtual candy store for guitarists and bass players. They're world famous for having the best selections of new, used, and vintage guitars in the Los Angeles area. Located at 714 Santa Monica Boulevard in the city of Santa Monica, True Tone Music offers the widest selection of exceptionally high-quality guitars and basses. They stock name brands like Fender, Gibson, Guild, Epiphone, Gretsch, and much more. It's where the top names in the music industry shop for guitars, basses, amps, boutique pedals, and accessories. Whether you want to buy, sell, trade, get guitar lessons or repairs, True Tone Music's super cool staff is there to make your music come to life. They'll also match any online price and back it up with top-notch customer service and support. Visit them online at TrueToneMusic.com or call 310-393-8232. That's 310-393-8232. Ask for Ken. Tell him Oscar sent you. He will treat you right. Yes, he will, because Oscar says so. Yes, I said so. Ken, take care of these people for me. These are my people. Take care of them. Give them free stuff. Guitar picks, tuners, capos, whatever you got. Help them out. Poor suckers. Hey, Jennifer, that was totally awesome. I really enjoyed that track very, very much.
Well, thank you, sir.
What is your main guitar right now?
You know what? After 15 years with a Washburn of my own, or it was my own model, I have switched to the Line 6 Variax.
Wow.
Because it is an amazing technological wonder. And it's not only a guitar with magnetic pickups, but it's also a virtual guitar. And they have incredible sounds in it. You can get all the sounds of a Strat, Telecaster, Les Paul, Rickenbacker, jazz boxes, as well as acoustic models and 12 strings and dobro and banjo. So, and not only that, but you can have custom tunings at the flick of a knob too, instead of having to physically detune the strings. So it's a great workhorse, and I've been taking that on the road for a few months now. And it's great for any situation. You're not going to be stuck with a sound that doesn't fit, for sure.
Wow, that's very cool. Yeah, I remember I interviewed Steve Howe, I think last year from Yes, and I think he has one of those. I don't know if is that specific model, but instead of carrying like 40 vintage instruments on the road, that's what he brings, and he likes it. So I guess it works.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's been a long time coming, but as the chips get more powerful and cheaper, everything's getting better sounding.
And are you plugging that into a regular amp, or is there a controller for that to get all the sounds, or how's that work?
You can plug it in just like a regular guitar, and I'm plugging it into my processor. And with a band, I'll go into a power amp and speakers, and with my own show, it's just direct into the house.
And are you using your RP1000 with that, or is this separate?
Yeah. Yep, I am.
Wow, very cool stuff.
And recently, for gigs around town in Portland, I've got a hold of this phenomenal amp, and technology, once again, is come miles and miles. It's called Quilter, by the guy that started the QSC power amps. And it is a lightweight, 18 pounds for an amp with a 12-inch speaker. And it has a special input for processors as well as regular amp controls. And I thought it just kicks butt. It's plenty of volume for anything in town, and it's lightweight. So I've had hernia surgery, so I'm all about the lightweight.
Oh yeah, is that a digital amp or a tube or what? Both?
No tubes. It's I guess you would call that digital. I think they have another name for it, but you can look it up. Quilter, Quilter.
Very cool. And is that so? Is it? Are they modeling tube sounds, or are they just, or has effects with it, or what? What are some of the features?
It's some geekophonic thing I couldn't begin to explain.
Mm-hmm. Geekified.
Geekified. It's completely geekified off the chain.
That's cool.
Yeah, Quilter is one of those guys that can sit and listen to a diode, if you can even do that. He's one of those guys that would do that if you could.
Yeah. I remember I saw his room. I saw his room, a Quilter room, at the AMP show last year. So
okay.
They're having another one in October coming up. So I'm going to have to go see and visit him and check that out, just because you said so. So people, if you go to the AMP show coming up next month, then you'll probably see the Quilter guy, hopefully, and then you'll get to learn all about the Quilter stuff.
Yeah. They have 8, 10, and 12-inch cabs.
They have what?
The smaller ones aren't short enough, but the 12 works good.
Yeah. These people can't shut up, because whatever you use, they want to run out and get it, basically, because you use it. So, you know. they want to be like you when they grow up. Well, very cool. So tell me what's coming up next for you in terms of touring. What's in the future? We've already talked about your classes that you're going to be doing, but in terms of touring, where can people find you?
I got some weird stuff coming up. Nothing in America, actually. I'm going to India in November, and that's going to be followed by a month in Europe. So I'm trying to get a few local gigs in town. The commute kills me. Going to India is probably going to be at least 40 hours of travel.
Very cool. Well, I wish you would come to L.A. so I can come see you and bring all my friends, because I'm a really big fan, and you're one of my favorite guitar players.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I am coming, actually, now that you mention it.
Oh.
I'll be playing just a 45-minute set at the Rock and Roll Autograph show that's coming up next weekend, and I'll be playing on the Friday night, which is a free night. All the other nights you have to pay. But I think I'm on at 11 on Friday night. It's at the LAX Westin Hotel.
Very cool. Jennifer Batten, thank you so much for coming on my program.
Sure, my pleasure.
I really appreciate it. You're welcome anytime. Call me anytime, and I'd love to have you on the show. Next time you have some stuff out, some videos, instructionals, any of that, you are always welcome on my show. Thank you so much. All right, everybody, say goodbye to Jennifer. Thank you, Jennifer. I'll see you next time.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Bye.
Have a good one.
Okay, bye.
Well, that was Jennifer Batten. I'd like to thank her for being a human being and being on my show. Set mind to purpose and visit her at jenniferbatten.com and purchase every piece of music she has ever written. Also, I'd like to thank Music Connection Magazine, True Tone Magazine, and Mojave Ampworks. Donate $30 or more and win a 1-year subscription to Music Connection Magazine and a Mad Professor electric blue chorus pedal. Do it and win. And if you want to become a sponsor, email me at oscarsguitarshop@gmail.com. Tune in next week when our guest will be legendary 24/7 Spies guitarist Jimmy Hazel. Take care of yourselves. Be nice to each other. See you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.